Yeah, the Clockify app is an app used to track your working hours. And to access the website, you visit www.clockify.me. That is clockify.me. When you visit the website, the first thing you do is to sign up for on the platform. So the moment you are done, the next thing you do, the moment you are done, sign up. You know, Here's how the if interface looks like. You come to the time tracker, which is the first place you come across. So with the time tracker, you have this space to indicate what you are trying to track your time on. You understand? Here is the project, the kind of project you are trying to track your time on. If you are currently working on a client project, here is where you can track, you can create the project name and start tracking the time for the project. So this icon here, is to show that the project you are currently working on is billable or not. What I mean by billable is that, okay, this project you want to track, is it something that is being built, you understand, on the client on which you are working on our project. So the moment you set up all these parameters, the next thing you do is to click to start. So before we proceed to other session, let's do a bit of demonstration on how the time tracker really works. Like I said, first thing you do is to create a project. Here is the project icon. You come here, you can see it says create a new project. Like this one that is already running, the tech support project. So you need to create a project. And there are two places in which you can do that. You can either create it from here, and as you are creating the project, you also ensure you create the client along with it. So let's create the project first. I come here, I say create a new project. Okay, let me give it the project name. Let's say lead generation, lead generation project. Then the client which you are working on the project for, you select it. Let's say this is it, you know, and should the case you don't have the clients listed here, this is where you create the client from this particular button. But let's just assume this is a client we are working on for. So just click and you say what create. You can see lead generation project. So that's the project we are going to work on. And the client for that project is Abo client. Should the case you don't have the client here, you can easily modify it, and change it to the client in which you want to do the project for. So let's say you have a new client you are trying to work for. You can easily come here and say add a new client. You say let's call it um, let's say KDA, let's say Daylight LLC. Let's say that's a client name. You say add. You can see it has come up here. you know. So let's now go back to the time tracker session. So when you get here, you see the box here, it's now asking you what are you trying to track. So or what are you working on. Say you know, working on lead lead generation project. So here is where you select the project. You can see the project here. You have lead generation project, you have this as the two projects currently ongoing. So since this is the one you are working on, you can just click on it, you know, and it's asking you this project, is it billable or not? Meaning, is it going to be bid for as you're working on it? So if you tap on it, the icon will become active. Right now, it's currently inactive. So tapping on it to make it active. You need to do that. You click on this the start icon, and say I've clicked on it, and the tracking, I started tracking the working hours which you are working. So the moment you are done tracking your hours, the next thing you do is to click on stop. Automatically, it will be added to the list of hours you have tracked working on different projects, right? Okay, the next thing now is the dashboard, or let's say calendar first. The calendar shows overview of all the time events. You understand? We are be tracking based on the kind of projects you have been working on. You know, so you have here now. It shows you we've been working on certain project on this particular date. That's why it's active on Tuesday. You know, you can have as many projects on that particular day. So currently, this is a project that is on. This one is a previous project on that same day. So if you want to check overview of all the projects you have been working on, other calendar, you see them there based on the dates you used to work on them. So the next thing now is a dashboard. With the dashboard, you're able to see a visualization of all the activities ongoing on the projects you are currently working on. You know, this here, for instance, now is showing you know a particular project on tech support owned by this client. The time totally tracked for it is a minute. So the same thing applies to this session too. The moment you are done, you know, you can move on to other session. The report is also similar to the dashboard too. The report shows all activities you have been working on, as in all the projects you have been working on. It will give you a lowdown a report based on all the work. For instance, if you want to track the working hours, if you want to check the report, this week, all these are report for this week, you know, and if you want to filter the reports, you can filter them based on the team, based on the client. You understand? You can see you have all the clients you have been working on. You have it for Ababa Welcome and you have for Daylight LLC. So let's say you want to check the report for Daylight LLC. You can just click on it and say apply filter. So it will just show the report basically for just Ababa Daylight LLC. So let me select all, then filter. So that's basically what the report does. And you can even download the particular report for each of the projects you are working on. You can download them and have them saved to your desktop, probably for later viewing. So the next item here is the kiosk. Let's say you have a company running and you want to be able to track people, that's your employees, for instance, who are clocking into your company and clocking out. You ought to be able to track their attending activities, the day they resume work and the day they are not present. This is where you do it. For you to do this, you need to have an upgraded account. If you click on create kiosk, for instance, now you see the activity, you see the name, you enter the name of your company, then the assignees, that is all your employees, individual names will be placed here. Then you have your project, your different projects. You can select them here. In case you have like a team working on the project, you can select the particular project that will be assigned to each of the staff, and the same thing applies to the project. So the moment you are done, you just click on the create button and the kiosk section will be created. Like I mentioned the other time, before you can track any working hour, you need to have a project running. And in case you don't have any running, you can easily come to the project section to create it. And you can add team. This team button is where you can add people who will be working on your project. You can add full team member or individual team member. So this button here shows how you can go about adding a new team. It's just a matter of clicking on this, then you add their email address to send them invite for them to become your team member. So the next is to have your clients. In case you are working for different clients and you really want to track the working hours, you are spending in working on their projects. This way you can have the client. Here is to add the individual clients that you are working on their project. Here is the timesheet. The timesheet is more like the reports section where you can synchronize or segment or check overview of all the working activities. You know, if you want to share the time you have spent in working on each project, for instance, let's activate it first so everything becomes visible. Because it's visible now. So this lead generation project, for instance, has a total working time of 12 seconds. The tech support has a total working time of 1 minute. You understand? So that's what the timesheet does. So that's all about Clockify. Thank you.